And today's video is going to be about best friends. Yay! I first want to talk about my first best friend I made when I was really small. So my very first best friend name was Samantha. Yep, Samantha. But for short we called her Sam. Yeah, Sam. She was amazing. She was the greatest best friend I could ever have. I remember the first day we met, like, the back of my hand. Like, I remember I was in the living room, the back door was open. This is when I lived down in the city, down in Syracuse. We lived in a kind of like an apartment complex. Like my whole family lived in this one apartment complex. And I remember being in the living room and I was watching TV and I hear this loud bang. And I'm like, what the heck? So, and of course I wasn't the only one that heard it. My mom heard it too. So my mom and my dad heard it. Sorry. And we ran to the back porch. And we looked down, and there was Sam. She was learning how to ride a bike without training wheels for the first time. Yeah, that's how little we were. We were like little kids, like preschool, kindergarten, I think. I don't know. And I looked down, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she looks up when her helmet was like in front, like really like this, because it was so loose on her, because she was tiny, and so it like fell in front of her face and she was fixing it. She looked up, she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And after that we became like the best of friends. She lived right next door to us. So we became best friends like right after that. She lived right next door to us, like across the street. You had to cross the street, and I always wanted to go over there, but I couldn't cross the street because I was little, and my parents are like, "You can't go across the street without me or your father." And I'm like, ugh. So I sometimes when mom and dad were too busy to take me over, I would sit on my porch and look at her house like, I want to go to Sam's house. And we all sat and crying and whining like a little brat. And mom's like, "Fine, I'll take you over, and I'll call her on the phone and talk, and we'll go." And like she'll be like, "Oh, you want to come over tomorrow?" I'll be like, "Yeah." And we'll ask her parents and go over, and I spent the night. She had like, oh, I loved her house. When we were over there, she had a piano, like one of those, not the big like grand pianos, like one of those little play pianos. And we and her used to play on it. And the one song I liked on there, because it had like different songs, you could like press a button and it'll play a song. Like they had "Here Comes the Bride" and one of Beethoven's songs. And I loved Beethoven. I love Beethoven. I can't remember the name of the song by Beethoven, but I loved that song. And I used to play it like all the time. Like every time I'm over there, I always press that button. And then we used to play dress up every time we were brides. And then we'll hit that button, and it'll sing "Here Comes the Bride," and we'll be time to walk down the aisle, and it'll be time to get married and whatnot. And it was just like a fun thing. But it sucks because me and her were so close, but her family, like, they were in, like, kind of like their own business. Her dad was a logger or something like that. He, like, cut down trees for a living, and part owner of that building, of that company. And I don't remember what her mom did. I think she had to do something with art or music. I remember them having like this big, it wasn't like a violin, it was like one of those big ones that look like a violin, but I can't remember the name, a cello maybe? I doubt that's it. I don't know. I'm not a music fanatic, so I love music, but not like I know all the instruments in the frickin' world, you know? But like, I remember going into their room one time, her mom and dad's room, by the way, and seeing this big, huge thing, and I'm like, "Oh, look, it's a violin." And they're like, "Alicia, that's not a violin, that's whatever it is. Like, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and their dad played it for us, because their dad knew how to play it, and their mom knew how to play it, and I was just, I don't know, I loved going over to her house, and then, of course, going back to the original thing, where her dad's part of this company, they had to have him move away, because business was moving away. So of course she had to move away because her father wanted to go with it, because it was a really good job. He was getting paid very well, and which I kind of understood, but not really. I was like, no, I don't want you to leave, and of course being a little brat about it and whatever. And so she ended up moving away, and we lost contact, sadly. And I was so heartbroken and sad. I'm like, I want to go see Sam. And of course, I didn't have her number. Well, I had her number. And I'm like, I want to go see Sam. But mom and dad are like, oh, well, you can't. And I'm like, I want to go see her. And then finally, I called her. And we talked on the phone. And I'm like, Sam, I want to come over. And she's like, okay. So her mom came and got me. And we went there. I think I went to her new house, and I was so excited because I got to see her new house. And oh, her house was huge, bigger than the one that she was in, that lived across from our house. But like, I felt like it was like a horror movie kind of thing. I'll explain why I thought it was a horror movie scene kind of house. But like, when I first went in, I'm like, oh, this house is amazing. And then nighttime came, it's like where the horror came in, because they were doing construction on the house. They were adding things, they were painting and stuff like that. And of course they had like these plastic sheet things hanging from the ceiling, and of course you had to go around them and stuff like that. And at night when you're walking through there, you see something on the other side of there, you're like, ah, you know. And of course, when you're a little kid, you're like, oh my god, a monster, you know. But like, it was a wonderful house. It was beautiful, very big, and I loved it. I'm like, oh, I want to just stay here another night and stuff like that. And then, like, soon after I spent the night, that one night, we actually lost full contact with each other, and I was like really heartbroken. Once in a while, my mom gets very lucky and she ends up running into her dad, but she keeps forgetting to give him our number so she can contact us. But I haven't talked to Sam in like forever, and I miss her. Like, once in a while she'll pop in my head. I'm like, oh, I wonder what Sam's doing. And I even looked like up on Facebook if she was on there, but the thing is, I don't know her last name. I just know that her first name, which is Samantha. So I looked up Samantha, and of course there's like so a bunch of freaking Samanthas on Facebook, so you have to sit there and go through all of them. And of course I don't know what she looks like now. I knew what she looked like when we were little, but like I don't know what she looks like now. So I don't know. Maybe one day fate will bring us back together again. I don't know. But like, I remember, I think I was, sorry, I keep bumping the table. I remember, I think I was like 13, maybe younger. I can't remember exactly. My mom and her dad ran into each other, and they did exchange numbers, and we were like back talking to each other again. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but we lost contact again. And after that, we haven't spoken to each other since. But like, I want to meet Samantha again. I miss her. It was awesome, and I loved how the way we met. The way she like ran into our porch. But then again, I feel bad for her because she ran into it. But it was kind of funny, kind of. Anyway, so then my second best friend was Beverly. She was my best friend, but she's not anymore because of some stuff went down, which I talked about it in a vlog before. She owes my mom some money, and of course she won't pay my mom back the money, so that was the end of our friendship. And then my now best friend is Rebecca Marlowe. She is absolutely amazing. Without her, I don't know, like, she's amazing. Sometimes I get a little mad at her because some stuff, like, she gets sick a lot, which kind of makes me mad, but the thing is, you can't help it. because she's a diabetic, and she gets high and she gets low, and when she gets high or low, she gets sick and stuff like that. And and of course, because she's a diabetic, her immune system is weak, and so therefore she gets sick a lot because her immune system is so weak. And so I can't really be mad at her, but I can't hang out with her. Like when we were like in high school. Yeah, in high school, when we were in high school, we were always hanging out. Every weekend, I was over at her house, like non-stop. I was over at her house every weekend. Not just the weekend, when we had Christmas, New Year's, all those holidays off, I was over at her house. I like practically lived at my best friend's house. I was barely ever home. And I loved it. And one summer, I spent like almost a whole summer with her. She's everything, and I miss hanging out with her. Ever since I got out of high school, life's gotten pretty much in the way of us hanging out. But I got to hang out with her, of course, last weekend, so I can't really complain. Eventually, more time will probably come up, and I'll be able to hang out with her, but right now it's not very possible. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the end of my best friend story. I didn't go much into the Beverly one because, you know, I don't really want to get into that. I am still pissed off about that, and I'm just not really in the mood to get into that. And I already explained it, so if you want to know that story, go watch my other videos and you can see. And yeah, that's the end of this video. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.